Well, I'm hoping that more people will realize, and more of the younger generation will realize how much social and emotional influence just jams can have on you when they're real jams, and when they're not just competition events, but when it's really about the exchange, and when it's really about communicating with people through dance, and that you just exchange more with each other after the pandemic, especially not just on the social platforms, but in real life, and that maybe the flow from just being YouTube b-boys and b-girls the past years, also due to the whole situation, will change again to just being more personal. And
salute to the subscribers, those that live beyond the Cypher. I am your host, Illskillz. This is Beyond the Cypher, the podcast that shows the humanity in the superhuman. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. They cost you nothing. Today, episode 24, Game of Thrones. We have a guest all the way from Germany. This guest is Red Bull Cypher champion, an event organizer of the Queen 16, as well as an actual doctor. I introduce to you none other than Bgirl Loopi of Flexible Flav and Flow Job Crew. What up, Loopi? How you doing?
I'm good. What's up?
Oh, nothing, man. It's been crazy here, actually, in Arizona. There's been like a lot of storms, trees falling, things like that. But other than that, we're we're good out here. How's everything where you are?
Very rainy too.
Oh, really? What city do you live in?
I live in Berlin.
In the early hours of August 13th, 1961, East German construction workers, flanked by soldiers and police, began tearing up streets and erecting barriers throughout the city of Berlin and its surroundings. This night marked the beginning of one of history's most infamous dividing lines, the Berlin Wall. Construction on the wall continued for the next decade as it cut through neighborhoods, separated families, and divided not just Germany, but the world. To understand how we got to this point, we have to go back to World War II. America, Britain, and France joined forces with the Soviet Union against the Axis powers. After they defeated Nazi Germany, each of the victorious nations occupied part of the country. The division was meant to be temporary, but the former allies found themselves at odds over their visions for post-war Europe. While Western powers promoted liberal market economies, the Soviet Union sought to surround itself with obedient communist nations, including a weakened Germany. As their relations deteriorated, the Federal Republic of Germany was formed in the West, while the Soviets established the German Democratic Republic in the East. The Soviet satellite countries restricted Western trade and movement, so a virtually impassable border formed. It became known as the Iron Curtain. In the former German capital of Berlin, things were particularly complicated. Although the city lay fully within the East German territory of the GDR, the post-war agreement gave the Allies joint administration.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight from Berlin.
From the Berlin Wall specifically, take a look at them. They've been there since last night. They are here in the thousands. They are here in the tens of thousands. Occasionally they shout, Die Mauer muss weg, the wall must go. Thousands and thousands of West Germans come to make the point that the wall has suddenly become irrelevant. Something, as you can see, almost to party on. How do you measure such an astonishing moment in history? The East German government said tonight they were going to make more openings in the wall, at least a dozen more. Put bulldozers right through the wall so that more people could cross to the west. The East German communist leadership tonight said there'd be a new election law guaranteeing secret elections which the rest of the world could monitor. And only 24 hours after East Germans were told they could go anywhere, anytime, the Soviet Union said that was a sensible move.
Oh, wow. So a lot of history in your city.
Yeah.
Right, like world history. That's crazy. Berlin, huh? Okay, cool. Now usually I start by, how did you get into hip hop? How did you get into breaking? But with you, I want to talk about the fact that you're a doctor. that is crazy. So what is that exactly your practice?
Well, at the moment I'm working in the ER, which means basically seeing all different kinds of patients, from the ones that just have a little cut on their finger and exaggerate and think they're dying, and then sometimes people that are actually dying. So it's like a very wide range, and this is part of the curriculum to become orthopedic and traumatologist. So I'm doing this for 6 months, but in total I'm also working in the surgery, operation halls, or just on wards. Basically, what I'm doing is seeing people that break their bones and we fix it, or people that have arthrosis and it's getting fixed, something like that.
So if I come to a jam in Berlin and I hit one of my moves and just snap my wrist, I might see you at the hospital.
Yes.
No doubt. Word. Now, how do you find the balance between being a doctor and being like one of the top B-girls in your country? That's kind of a crazy contrast, because you know how much work you have to put into being a doctor, like when you were coming up in school with your education and things like that, but then having to find time to practice.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I'm just a kind of person that doesn't need so much relaxed time, say it like that. So I'm usually relaxing, doing sports and practicing too. So for me, this was the best balance to find. And I think I wouldn't be able to have done my whole university course if it wasn't for breaking, because it can get kind of dull and depressing just studying so much. So for me, this was actually a good balance back then. And with working, it's basically the same. It's just a very one-sided way being in this world, working as a doctor. And this just gives me a very colorful range of doing something else. And also, I just can't stop breaking.
Right. So it's like medicine for the doctor.
Pretty much.
No doubt. Word. Well, now that we got through that, let me ask you, how did you get into breaking and hip hop?
How did I get into breaking and hip hop? Well, a very big role in this plays my brother. He's a little bit older than me, 3 years to be exact. And he's been, like older brothers often are kind of a role model for me. And he's been in the hip hop scene before me already, doing graffiti, skateboarding a lot, and then being a big part of the German hip hop scene, and especially in rapping. And he just kept pushing once I started dancing when I was around 11 or 12, doing all different kinds of dance school stuff. He just kept pushing that I should start breaking and find a place to do that. And then, I found a class and started in the beginning to break there with Kuni from Fresh and Attack, one of the Eastern German crews that were really hyped back then, or maybe even a little before I started, but he was giving this class. And then after that, it just started.
No doubt. So what were you doing before?
Before, what kind of dance you mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought I could skip this.
Oh, no.
Dancing Stars.
Will our airmen bring the action? the action.
Well, you couldn't have been doing anything too crazy. You were only a little kid, so
I did something called D's Dance Club. We have this guy, he's called Detlef D. Soest, one of the like pop dance culture protagonists.
No doubt.
I know we were performing choreographies from Pussycat Dolls and stuff.
So you were doing like that. What's those movies? Step Up and all those kind of movies, like that kind of dancing.
I love that.
No doubt. Well, Germany.
Competitions too.
Say that again.
We did some competitions too, and it's a really different kind of competition because people are dancing at the same time on the stage. There's like 30 people doing the same choreography at the same time on the stage.
Wow, you said 30?
Yeah, like about 30, maybe sometimes even more. I think it's really weird.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So Germany has kind of like a special place on the international scene.
He had a very big influence on my breaking, especially this whole technical part of breaking had a very big influence, teaching me so many little moves and leveling up my breaking just from having ideas that I could never really think of. So yeah.
No doubt. For more quality content from Beyond the Cypher with Illskillz, don't forget to press the like and subscribe buttons. Also, feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Beyond the Cypher. Let us know how we're doing in the comment section, and to make sure you don't miss anything from the channel, smash that notification bell. We appreciate the love and support. Peace. Until the next episode.